Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at another G.I. Joe Classified Series figure. This was sent to me by Hasbro as part of their Yo Joe event thingy. I reviewed a couple of them. I have a couple more to do. This is one of them. This is the COBRA VIPER, and I think after watching this review, you will not doubt whether or not I'll be honest with my reviews, depending upon what I get sent as review samples. Because this one's kind of a stinker. There's some cool stuff about it, but there's a lot that's not anywhere near as good as some of the other figures in this line. So it's going to get a little bit of a beating here. But let's see how it turns out. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 6.5 inches, which makes him pretty close to 16.5 centimeters. And before we get into the rest of the review, let's do a quick question of the day. Are you guys on the Joe side or the COBRA side? Is that how they're referred to? I don't know. I'm not that big into Joe. You guys know that. I'm definitely more into the COBRA designs. They're pretty cool, especially COBRA when he's got the cloth mask rather than the dome, the biker helmet. Anyway, just COBRA or Joe, you can pick. Okay, so let's talk about this guy. The first thing I noticed when I looked at this guy is it is not really a pleasing profile. It doesn't look great. This looks like a person doing cosplay of the character rather than the character. We don't have a ton of artwork to go by here, but it's like a pretty cool character design. The helmets are definitely not like full-size helmets that you could fit a real human head in and that kind of thing. But this guy, it's just, he's pretty dopey looking. Tiny shoulders, big melon head because of the helmet, but still long skinny legs. It just doesn't have that heroic or villain, whatever, I can still say heroic proportion. It just doesn't look great. It doesn't have great appeal to it. The other thing that I noticed is the visor. It doesn't really look very good. It's kind of slightly metallic, but also not at all. And it's painted terribly. So that stood out as a problem to me. I did think this was painted well. That's okay. But they also chose to use this super bright, like neon yellow paint for all of the yellow parts, and it is one of the hardest things you could possibly choose to do on a figure. Painting yellow is worse than painting white, and neon yellow in particular, and also it's an ugly color. It doesn't suit the character very well. I think it should be more of it needs a little bit more red in it, but it's just not painted well. It's painted horribly. Every part of it that's yellow is really, really cheap and crappy looking. It is not good. It really destroys the look of this figure, frankly. And having the belt, I'm pretty sure that should be painted other colors. It shouldn't be just a solid yellow COBRA logo, right? Yeah, not great. All this detail up here that's not painted also looks really rough. COBRA logo is nice right there. A little bit of gray on there, but this guy is easily one of the worst looking figures in this line that I have looked at. And I have seen a few in person. I have reviewed a few. This yellow destroys it. The head being that shape doesn't look good. And part of the reason the head doesn't look good is because I'm not putting the goggles on there out of principle. No, they just don't really fit on there properly. They don't quite stay on right. And they don't make any sense. Why would you have goggles on your helmet when that helmet has a visor? That's a full face visor. Those goggles will never get used. It doesn't make any sense. They could be like on his person somewhere in case the helmet's missing, and then you could put the goggles on. But all around, it's just kind of goofy looking. It's not very well executed. There's no real detail work. There's so much gray that's just not painted. His pants and these pouch thingies or whatever they are, they're all the same color. These boots don't look like anything really. Like he's half super realistic and half no detail at all. The gloves and boots look really rough. Ugh, this thing is not appealing to look at all. Very, very rough looking. So lots of cool sculpt work, weird proportions, and bad paint. 5 out of 10 for the aesthetic. It is not a good one. Sorry, Hasbro. Not that sorry, though, because my dedication is to my audience. Okay, so let's talk about the accessories. You already saw the goggles that fit on the helmet. Kinda, they don't really fit, though. They're also painted okay. We have his backpack, which has the same type of paint job as his body. It's not very good. The yellow looks terrible. There's not too much detail work going on. Even the COBRA logo isn't great. Then we get his pistol, which is okay, but just a solid black, semi-realistic pistol. And then we get the rifle, which is another solid black piece, which is not realistic really at all. It does have a removable magazine or whatever you want to call it, but also just solid black. No pegs on these though, so I like that. The pistol does fit in the holster okay. So accessory wise, 7 out of 10. It's fine. It's not bad. It's not particularly good. It's okay. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about the articulation. The head is on a ball peg and a disc hinge, and then the neck itself can move around on a ball, but it has basically no range. You're kind of gonna just be able to rotate it. I can't speak anymore. Not sleeping due to the baby is affecting my ability to speak. So you get enough range out of the head. It's okay, but it's not particularly good. It's just okay. There is a butterfly joint in here, but it's so far inset that it's basically worthless. This vest is a separate add-on piece. I guess it was cheaper for them to do that rather than to just sculpt the whole body, but it also made the figure look bad and function poorly. So he's got tiny shoulders with an inset butterfly joint that really doesn't serve a purpose. So that makes him look really dopey, and it doesn't pose well. Shoulder itself does go up to just better than horizontal, so that is okay. You do get your full rotation, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. That's all fine. These gauntlets, excuse me, these gauntlets are actually separate pieces. These black ones, so they can rotate with the hand if you want them to. It looks to me like they have painted flesh tone underneath there, like he has rolled up sleeves, and that you could actually pull the gauntlet off. You'd have to heat it because he does have a watch on that side and something on this side. I don't know if it's another watch. Probably not. Yeah, he's got wrist things on both sides, but in theory, you could take this off and have bare arms under there. They painted them, even though you can't see them, so that's kind of cool. This wrist has a vertical hinge, so that's cool for using gun poses. This wrist has a horizontal hinge, so that's not very useful, but he has it. The torso, I'm assuming, has your standard G.I. Joe articulation in there, but because this vest is one solid piece that goes all the way down, you're not using anything really but the twist and some slight leaning. So the torso is very limited, of course. That's terrible. Alright, for the hips, they have the hinge ball peg, but they're very loose. So they move each other, and they tend to just want to drop down and do this wiggle thing. The wiggle that you get from hinge ball pegs that you don't want because they don't really serve a purpose. So going out to the side, you can do basically the splits. That's not because of the hinge, by the way. The hinge does not add range to that. So that's good though, so that's fine. Splits are good. That means he can kick going forward. Without the hinge, you get just about horizontal. With the hinge, you can't do anything else because you have the pouches. So doesn't serve any purpose. You can go back just a little bit. Thigh swivel is fine. Double jointed knee is fine. Could be a little better, but it's alright. And then you do get a boot swivel if you want that. Ankle goes all the way back and pretty far forward, and you get a decent ankle rocker. His articulation's pretty average. Other than the torso being really limited, it's okay. The neck isn't great. The butterfly joint sucks. The hips suck, but they have decent enough range. I'll give it a 7. It's fine. You'll be able to pose him as much as you need to probably, but it's just, there's nothing impressive about this guy. There's a lot that's unimpressive and displeasing to look at. So I'm going to give it a final rating of 6 out of 10. Easily the worst G.I. Joe figure I can think of from the classified series. Were there any worse ones? I reviewed a couple I didn't like, but this one to me is the worst, which is unfortunate that they sent it to me. But hey, thanks for sending a review sample, and I'm happy to review anything you guys send, but I have to do what I do, and that is review. And it happens to rhyme, which means it's also probably true, which also rhymed. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Make sure you leave a comment below, because I will pin somebody's comment. If they say something interesting or funny or something like that, someone's getting pinned and getting a little bit of recognition for participating. So that's a little bit of a reward and a thank you for you guys who do participate in the conversations we have down there. And again, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day, and I have thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.